can hear anything. There we go. Now we're talking. We get ready sitting here at Freedom Motorsports Alliance at Darlington Raceway. It is the next gen Cup car. As you see, the DuPont Chevrolet out there of that number 24, throwback to Jeff Gordon out there. Now, as you're looking there, I believe that is, we're looking there at Heminger. Yeah, Shane Heminger in the number 24. Another one I want to keep an eye on tonight is this driver here, Caleb Sheets. Got that Looney Tune on the car, and there's some interesting backstory to the Looney Tunes if anybody's kind of been curious or looked into it. I was flipping through some old NASCAR stuff on YouTube the one day, and lo and behold, I come across this video titled Looney Tunes and NASCAR Curse. Apparently, the promotional period of 2001 and 2002, when NASCAR and Looney Tunes combined for those 2 years, it wasn't quite the combination they were hoping for. So quite an interesting video to check out here on YouTube if you do. Quite an interesting backstory of how the driver that had the tunes on the car didn't quite finish so well. We got Cody Brewer in that Coca-Cola machine, throwback there. Great looking black car. Rolling down that backstretch there for Brewer. How many of them are going to come out with a Darlington stripe tonight, I wonder? I see almost everybody's running Chevrolet except for 2 with Ford and 2 with Toyota. It's quite interesting. Best lap time so far by Austin Hahn with a 29.767. Donald Ray with a 29.826, and you got Mark Nelson with a 29.868. Everybody still trying to finish out their times. Drivers figuring out what is going on here. Now, wait a moment here. What happened? All of a sudden, my cameras went all wonky on me. I see the 33 of Austin Smith finishing his time. There's the Darlington stripe. That's going to be on the 37 of Bobby Watts. He gets up in that Darlington wall. We're going on down that backstretch. And through turn 3 and 4. Is anybody going to have what it takes to match or get up there with the leaders? We see Bobby Watts getting up there into about 10th position right now with a 31.163. And that's going to be his qualifying time as lap 1. Did not count since he got into that outside wall. Paul Berthwick up there. Well, I don't know if he got into that outside wall there or not. And at 67 as he's going to bring it to a crawl there on the backstretch. 5 seconds left in qualifying. And with that, let's go ahead and take this time to pay tribute to our flag.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
right, we're back here at the racetrack as we're on board here with Paul Barthwick. We head down through the straightaway. There you see him coming down there in the corner number 1. We're going down through here. There you're looking there at Donald Ray. You got that Navit machine there. Kind of a throwback. And I know that a couple drivers drove the Napa Motorsports, but the one that always comes to my mind is Michael Waltrip. You're running the Napa. I run down through off the track here, trying to see who else we got running throwback scheme tonight. There you see it, the number 40. Not sure if that's a throwback scheme, though. Same with here with Austin Smith. Kate Matsko in the number 66, running that Miller Lite Miller beer inspired machine. Getting a little bit of Darlington stripe down the back stretch. The Power Bondrick running that Hendrick Motorsports car. And I know I've seen this one race. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember the driver behind it. And they come back down through that front straightaway. In corner number 1. About under a minute and a half to go here in the, why is that? Okay, give us a moment as we have this scooped up again tonight. Let's get it straightened out here. Come on. Everything stay out of my way. There we go. Now we're back cooking. Perfect. All right, we're ready to roll here. That's track cams tonight, brought to you by the track cams up there in the corner. You'll see that flash on through. Now, if you want to get an admin box, there's a code there underneath that logo as well. They appreciate the camera work that track cams puts into the work here to get us the best possible camera views for the race. Now we get them ready for the grid. Here, starting on grid. It's going to be Austin Hunt starting out there in first. Donald Ray in second. In row number 2, inside is going to be Mark Nelson in third. Outside is Caleb Sheets in fourth. Row number 3 in fifth. That's going to be Chase Matsko on the inside with Ryan Peters starting sixth. On to the outside of row number 3. Row number 4, that's going to be Austin Smith on the inside with Cody Brewer on the outside. Joseph Spillman starting in ninth with Bobby Watts on the outside there in 10th. Row number 5. Oh, wrong date once again. Today is the ninth, not the second. Rolling down through here. Shane Heminger starting in 11th. You got now the number 55 of Joey Stats starting in 12th. In 13th tonight, that's going to be Paul Berthwick, with 14th going to Dylan Jacobs. 15th, Tiffany Ellis, with Scott Olson there in 16th. So 16 drivers taking the grid here tonight. Did they all start? I'm not noticing anything out of two of the drivers, so we'll see if they get on track or not. I'm seeing back to 14th. I'm not seeing anything beyond that. We'll see if Tiffany Ellis and Scott Olson come out here as we got them drag racing down the front straightaway. Down here in the corner number 1. Side by side goes Donald Ray and Austin Hund. Donald Ray up there on the outside. Now down that back straightaway, everybody kind of single filed out except for Mark Nelson. Nelson goes there underneath the 15 of Austin Hund down here through corner 3 and 4, back around onto that front stretch. Down past the flag stand. There you see that 26 machine of Caleb Sheets. Wonder if he can do what I don't think anybody was able to do during the whole promotion area, putting a Looney Tunes into victory lane. As we said, go and check that video out on YouTube. I know I saw it once about the curse of the Looney Tune curse. So quite interesting to look that up. Rolling down through off of the corner. Working their way. Looking good so far. There's another great looking car back there. That's the Target machine of the 37, Bobby Watts. Driving that Target sponsored machine. Down that back straightaway, and that looks like a 50, or, I'm sorry, no, what the hell number was it? Back here toward the back, 67, that's it, the 67 of Berthwick. Kind of thought he got into that outside wall a little bit. Donald Ray leading the race right now with Austin Hund there second. And I'm so sorry, we need that up. There we go. We'll have 4 of 117 here tonight. They roll down here off of turn number 2 down that backstretch. Mark Nelson in second. Caleb Sheets there in third, looking to the inside of Nelson, trying to see if he can make something happen, which he does. Down there on the inside, can he keep the momentum going there in that number 26 machine to get it up there toward the front? Oh, boy, getting a little close there. Coming off of the corner, down the front straightaway, down into corner number 1 they go. Lap number 5 now on the board with Donald Ray out front. Austin Hund there in second. Caleb Sheets there third. Mark Nelson there fourth. Chase Masco fifth. With Cody Brewer here in sixth. Joey Stats back here in seventh. Ryan Peters eighth. Austin Smith back here in ninth. With Bobby Watts rounding out your top 10. Now we do have them back here. Dylan Jacobs falling back a little bit. Shane Heminger. Paul Berthwick. Joseph Spillman. It does look like Scott Olson and Tiffany Ellis did come back out onto the speedway there, just starting from the pits. They're just taking their time back here, getting acclimated to the track. A lot of laps here to go, so starting from the pits isn't that detrimental here. It's not like it's a drafting track where starting from the pits, you need a buddy to kind of draft along with. I see Tiffany Ellis coming out of the backstretch there. Everybody else coming there through turns number 1 and 2, so got to get that car up to speed a little bit, as you've seen it right there for a quick glimpse. Going down into corner number 3, as here comes the leaders down into corner number 3. Austin Hund running second position right now as they roll down through. And you got there the one of Cody Brewer out of Marcola, Oregon. There's Chase Matsko out of Saxonburg, PA, running that that Miller Genuine Draft machine. Was that an interstate battery machine back here I saw? I believe it is that Toyota Camry of Joey Stats. Running Interstate Battery, kind of a nod back to whenever I first started watching racing, was being driven by Bobby Labonte. Terry Labonte running none other than the Kellogg's number 5 machine. Bobby running that Interstate number 18. But tonight, Joey Stats is running the 55, painted up. As a nod back to that from, I could say correctly. Now, I could be wrong. It could be after somebody else's Interstate Battery theme, but that's just the one that comes to my mind. I ran a couple different battery companies back whenever I first started watching racing. There was the Interstate Battery, and there was also the Exide Battery, which was driven by the 99 Edwards, I believe, was who was driving it at the time. Carl Edwards driving a 99 Edwards, or Exide battery. See Joey Stats back here in 6th right now with Jacody Brewer running that Coca-Cola machine number 1. Down here in the corner, number 1 they go as they work along that backside. Seeing a little bit of scrapes up there, but nothing too major as of yet. So nobody's really got themselves that Darlington stripe as of yet. Too terrible as they work down here into 3 and 4. What a great night for racing here down that front straightaway. Donald Ray out front leading the way. Joey Stats here, back here in 6th. Cody Brewer in 7th. That number 1 Coca-Cola machine with that bear on the hood. And right behind him is that Skittles machine. Or I'm sorry, not Skittles, M&M machine. M&M machine there of Ryan Peters. There's only 2 Toyotas, so as long as I can keep track of which one's where, I can pretty much pick them out. And we got the Chevrolet here of Austin Hahn running there in 2nd. Number 26, Caleb Sheets running that Looney Tunes car tonight. Running down that backstretch. There you see once again Chase Matsko driving that Baylor Genuine Draft. Down there in the corner number 3 and 4 as they come back out here onto that front stretch. Who's it going to be here as they are 14 laps in. Everybody out single file at the moment. Not too much going on the racetrack. Let's go ahead and put that map up just so everybody is kind of aware of where their driver is as they roll on down around the racetrack. We got Chase Matsko out there in front. Right there in 5th. You got Donald Ray there out front, driving that Napa machine. Austin Hahn there in 2nd. Caleb Sheets there in 3rd. Mark Nelson there 4th. Chase Matsko 5th now, with Joey Stats there in 6th. As you see there on the map, that number 40 machine of Tiffany Ellis struggling a little bit. Started from the pits and is trying to stay on the lead lap. Well, that might prove a little futile at the moment as they come here out of turn number 4. Back onto that front stretch. That 40 of Ellis dropping down there to the bottom line. Going to let the leaders by as they go up along that outside wall. There you see Ellis down there, way down on the apron. Now you're watching Chase Matsko roll here off the corner. Up there against that outside wall. Lap number 16 on the board. Now you're on board with Austin Hahn trying to chase down that Napa machine. Now they roll down here into the corner. Oh boy, there was a big scrape in the wall for Chase Matsko as he comes down off of that turn. That was coming out of turn number 2. Got that Darlington stripe going quite good coming out of there as they work down here through 3 and 4 now. Don't really see too much of a stripe yet on the side of the car. Here comes Joey Statso to the inside. That's going to allow him to gain the momentum that he needs to get up there and take that position. over Chase Matsko. That moves Joey Stats up there in the 5th. Chase Matsko falls back to 6th. Now you see Ryan Peters there trying to move along there, sitting in about 7th right now. Biggest mover of the race is that number 55 of Joey Stats, as he is up 7 positions from where he started. Joseph Spillman sitting here, and I wonder if Joseph Spillman is out, as he is minus 7 laps, and I don't see his times changing any time, really. I'm thinking that Spillman might be out. We'll see as the ticker comes by here. He's sitting in 16th position as it stands. And yes, Spillman is out, pulled it back to the hauler. His day is done. They come here through turn number 1. Back out on the backstretch. There you see Chase Matsko. He's rolling down through. Turn 3 and 4. There's that Looney Tunes machine of Caleb Sheets as he rolls there off the corner. He's got a mirror pull of Mark Nelson. There you see Austin Hunt trying to get up there to the leader. There's that battle once again for 3rd place. As Mark Nelson sitting in 4th. It's trying to chase down that Looney Tunes machine of Sheets. Everybody's got pretty well of a gap. As you see Taz there trying to make his way up through and hold on to that 3rd position. But Nelson right there at the back bumper. There you see the 88 Gatorade machine, and that's a throwback as well. Forgive me, I can see the car. I can possibly see the car. I can't fully put my name on who drove it. And the 88's having a little bit of connection issues there. There you see Mark Nelson and Caleb Sheets getting ready to battle once again. Nelson up to the high side there as Sheets goes down to the inside. Nelson going around up there. He's going to get that 3rd spot over top of Caleb Sheets. So Caleb Sheets now falls back into 4th. Up there at the top of the leaderboard, though, Donald Ray and Austin Hunt are still battling it out up there at the front. As everybody works down here out of the corner, down in through the front stretch goes Austin Hunt there right at the bumper of Donald Ray. As they work here off the corner, working now onto that back stretch. Those are your 2 closest drivers. You got the 24 and 67 battling it out. That back here is battle for 10th. Berthwick is trying to get up there to battle Heminger. Berthwick all over the bumper, just trying to get something to happen there. Got a little bit of connection issue there. Looking to the inside of Heminger now as he comes down here into corner number 3 and 4. That's the other odd thing about this racetrack is if you look at the map up there in the top right corner of your screen, you can see 1 and 2, this wide sweeping corner. Now the 88 is on pit road of Dylan Jacobs. As you see that, turns 1 and 2, a wide sweeping. Then you come down and it narrows down here into corner number 3 and 4 for a tighter turn. And sometimes coming off these corners, it really kind of throws you off to that outside wall. Now you see Mark Nelson there in 3rd, getting around Sheets rather in that 3rd position. Here comes that 55 of Joey Stats, gaining on Caleb. You see Joey there just kind of running as smooth as he can in that Interstate Batteries machine down here through the front stretch, down into corner number 1 again. 26 of Caleb seems to have fallen off the pace a little bit of what he was running earlier. I know for me, I've run into that same issue as, pretty much for some reason I'm very good at burning tires off at some places. Other places I'm I'm too lenient on the car, so I don't really push as hard as maybe I should. I'm just not the best on asphalt. On certain dirt races, I can be somewhat competitive, but other dirt races, I'm not. Oh, I feel more comfortable on dirt than I do on asphalt, though, that's for sure. Working down the front straightaway there is Mark Nelson. Caleb Sheets there in fourth. Joey Stats in fifth. Chase Matsko here sixth. Ryan Peters here seventh. Austin Smith back here in eighth. As Cody Brewer's back in ninth. Paul Burswick rounding out your top 10. After getting around Shane Heminger there a few laps ago. 117 laps the distance here tonight. Donald Ray slowly closing in on the 37 of Bobby Wallace to put him a lap down. There you see him coming there out of turn number 2. Down that back straightaway, 37 is going to we're down here into corner number 3 and 4. You see at 37, really giving Nelson a run there, trying to stay on as much of the lead lap as he can. As Watts falls back in another position, Nelson finally getting around. Joey Stats up here in the fourth after getting around Caleb Sheets. Caleb Sheets now falls back here to fifth. Chase Matsko is sixth. But he's in danger of going back in position there as Ryan Peters comes up there in that 5 machine. That M&M's inspired machine. Or did Matsko come around him? I lost track of who's passing who out here. Lap 33 of 117 on the board. Up there against that outside wall, Chase Matsko is, and hopefully he didn't quite get a Darlington stripe on that one there. I know he's been pretty close to it. And coming. Oh, there was a good one coming out of 2. Oh, boy, that was a hard hit. Look at the front corner of that machine as he's back up there into the outside wall again. Now he's putting a stripe on that side. Not really seeing it lay down the stripe, but I'm definitely really seeing it put the damage to the front corner panel. I'm surprised it's not scraping the paint off. What? These cars must have some pretty tough paint on them. So I would have thought he would have scraped some of that paint off of that side already. Down here in the corner number 1 goes the 86 of Nelson. Joey Stats there in third. He's dropping down through here as well. Along that outside wall. Bring it down a little bit and come off as it shoots him back up towards that outside wall coming off. Caleb Sheets back there in the 5th with Ryan Peters now. Getting back around Chase Matsko. Matsko back in that outside wall again. He's really living life on the edge up there with that wall. It might be a little quicker there, Matsko, if you just kind of keep it off the wall a little bit more. I don't think the wall is going to help you gain speed. And beating it up is not going to help you much. Austin Smith back here in 8th. Cody Brewer back here in 9th. Paul Burswick back in 10th. And they whirl down the front straightaway. second. Was muted there for a moment. Austin Hunt there in second. Mark Nelson back here third. .55 there of stat. That we got him back there. Map was getting a little gooped up there. I just have to figure out why. Hey, roll on down through here. You see Mark Nelson coming there off of turn number 4. Back down that front straightaway. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's the back straightaway. Coming down there in the corner number 3 and 4. He drops down there on the apron. He's going to bring it to pit road. Oh, boy, I thought maybe he was going to take up the barrels. Pit road becoming a busy place here at lap 42. Donald Ray still out front. Austin Hunt there at second. Mark Nelson, your third place driver, in the pits. That's going to bring Ryan Peters up here in the third place. Austin Smith rolling down through here. He's going to move up here in the fourth. Mark Nelson, he's going to drop down a few positions here. And under green flag condition, it's real easy to lose a lap. Now you see here comes Donald Ray back around. That's going to put that 86 a lap down. We already have Henninger, and so we have Heminger out on the racetrack, but he is still a lap down. Scott Olson completed a pit. You see them coming through there. They got about the top 5 drivers on the lead lap at the moment. Berthwick still having a little bit of connection problem. They'll work on down through here tonight. You see that Epic machine. There's the Austin Hunt there in second. They roll on down through off the corner. As they head on off in the corner number 3 and 4, back out here onto the front straightaway comes Austin Hunt following Donald Ray, who's leading the race down there in front. Lap 46 of 117 on the board. Halfway being about lap 64 and a half. I'm thinking correctly. There you see that number 33 getting up out of the way there for the leaders. Austin Hunt's there in 4th place. And you see Austin Hunt now coming down there in the pit road. Ryan Peters still running out there. Here comes Donald Ray coming back around out onto the front straightaway. It's going to put Hunt a lap down. They got quite the lead over Ryan Peters, who's back here in second, who gets up into that outside wall. Austin Smith back here in third. Paul Berthwick in fourth. Scott Olson, Scott Olson back here in fifth. Up 11 spots from where he started. He's going to bring it on down into the pits. Donald Ray finally brings it on in. Olson deciding to take it another lap. I'm sure we'll see Olson come in this time. And he's down there on the bottom apron of the racetrack. And you see Donald Ray out there. Now getting one side done. Now he's getting the other side. There they go. Left side tire is going on. Right, Peters down there on the pit road. And there's that 61 of Olson coming down there on the pit road, as I kind of figured. Austin Smith out front. Austin Smith, Berthwick, and Peters have not pitted, but Peters is on pit road right at this moment. Olson finally getting stopped in his pit stall. That 37 of Bobby Watts on his way out. Some damn dog going after it. Scott Olson down the front straightaway. Out here in about 10th position. Austin Smith out here in front. Paul Berthwick back here in second. Mark Nelson in third. Austin Hahn in fourth. Donald Ray back here in fifth. All right, down here through the corner. Austin Hahn. He's there in second. Olson trying to hold on to what position he does have. Drivers trying to work their way around other drivers. You see Chase Masco back here, a lap down, behind Austin Hahn and Mark Nelson. Everybody's pitted at least once. Scott Olson's pitted twice. Berthick in pit lane right now, as he's there rolling off now. Austin Hahn sitting there second. Donald Ray in third. So he's got that car back up there. Mark Nelson, what a great job he's done there. Time of pit stops as he is back out front there in that number 86. Austin Hahn here in second. Donald Ray third. Caleb Sheets back up in the fourth, but had just Joey Stats right there on his back. Back here down in the corner number 1 again. Off of turn 2, down that back straightaway. Or I'm sorry, no, down the front straightaway they come as they're coming down there out of 4. We're looking there at Joey Stats. Working on down through here. In the corner number 1, down that back straightaway once again. You got Austin Smith working his way down. There's that 19 of Donald Ray. Working his way in the corner number 3 and 4. And you see Caleb Sheets in that number 26 machine, working there in 5th. Ryan Peters back here 6th, 62 laps of the 117. Down here in the corner number 1. I see coming off corner number 4, Mark Nelson still leading the way. Lap number 64 now on the board. Really great to see these drivers come out here, and if you're wanting to get into this, go ahead and message us here at Figure Farm TV. You can find us on Facebook or at our website, Figure Farm Gaming. Should be able to find us with a Google search. Head on down here out of the corner. You see Austin Hahn running second there, which is where he's run most of the night here, as we are now over halfway. Heading down here in the corner number 1. Long endurance race here for these guys tonight. And we're on lap 67, or 65 of 117. Down on through into corner number 1. Nelson still leading the way. You got 37 there. A lap down on the bottom side. Austin Hunt trying to work his way up there. You see Joey Stats. He's sitting there in 4th right now, trying to get up there to Austin Hunt. But he's got lap machines there in front of him of Chase Matsko, Austin Smith. They roll off the corner. You got 26 there behind him. That's Caleb Sheets. And Caleb Sheets is fighting in for position. And they roll on down through, out of the corner. Working on down here. You see them there. You got Joey Stats there in 4th. Donald Ray there 3rd. Working on down here out of turn number 2, down that back straightaway. Matsko down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. It looked like he's almost had enough of that outside wall. As the 26 of Caleb Sheets squeezes it through the middle there and up there above the 55 to try to regain that, and he does. He's now up there back in the 4th as Joey Stats falls back there in the 5th. Chase Matsko lap down there to Mark Nelson and Austin Hunt. Right now, try to see who's on the lead lap. It's just 5 drivers on the lead lap. Mark Nelson is there battling Austin Hunt coming out of turn number 4. Down there across the start-finish line. Austin Hunt taking over that lead from Mark Nelson. As they go down there in corner number 1. Up there against the outside walls, Mark Nelson. Donald Ray there in 3rd. And the number 19 machine. They got around the lap car of Ryan Peters. So Ryan Peters being a lap car in the middle of this, as here comes Donald Ray to get around him. He gets to the bumper of the 5, coming there out of turn number 4, back onto that front stretch. The 1 of Cody Brewer down on pit road. And they're working down here out of the corner here at lap number 73. Back down here through onto the backstretch. You're looking there at Donald Ray as he's trying to get up there to get around that lap machine of Ryan Peters. Might have a decent run here this time as he goes towards the top side. Thinking about it, does not do it. There you see that 5 get down out of the way for the 19, letting him around, coming down here into corner number 1. That's going to allow him to try to gain some position up there towards Mark Nelson and Austin Hunt, as Austin Hunt has pulled away out there in front. Now, remember earlier in the race, Austin Hunt had a great run going, but Joey, where did he go? The guy that was running it is sitting back here at number 19 of Donald Ray. He was your leader for most of the first half. Now Austin Hunt is out there after Mark Nelson was leading for a while. It comes down through off the turn. Got to keep it off that outside wall. It should look like that 5 there. Ryan Peters might have brushed it. Coming on down there in the corner at number 3. That time he did hit it. He's got that Darlington stripe up there that time. As 5 drivers are on the lead lap. You can see them various spots of laps down. Jacobs out, Spillman out. Brewer sitting in the pits. They work on down through off the back straightaway into corner number 3. Lap number 76 of 117 on the board. All right, out here through off of corner number 2. He's got company back here gaining on him, though. Mark Nelson and Austin are out there. Austin Hunt out front. Mark Nelson there second. Donald Ray really trying to get up there and start battling Mark Nelson now. Where Nelson might have burned off a little bit trying to stay out there in front. Now he's going to pay for it a little bit here as Austin Hunt and Donald Ray might find a way around him. Down here in the corner number 1 they go as they battle it out. Caleb Sheets down there on pit road. Austin Hunt is out front. Donald Ray here in second. As you see him getting there, getting the nose out front of Nelson. And down that front straightaway, he does get around Nelson. Now Joey Stats trying to see if he can get up there to Nelson to battle for that third position. And you've seen Caleb Sheets falling back there through the grid. As we got drivers making secondary pit stops. Caleb Sheets in there for 2. Berthwick still only at 1. But we'll keep an eye on this as they all come around here. Donald Ray out of Rockwall, Texas. Sitting here running second tonight as you got that 86 of Mark Nelson rolling down through here. Mark Nelson now brings it on to pit lane along with Joey Stats. And Donald Ray and Austin Hunt are out front. Joey Stats down there. Oh, that must have been, that was the 5 of Ryan Peters. I'm sorry. Ryan Peters came in, but Joey Stats is coming. We'll see what Austin Smith does here. As he comes there off the corner. Got the 15 of Austin Hunt coming in now. The 19 of Donald Ray staying out another lap. The 61 of Scott Olson. He's coming in. Donald Ray. Currently, as it stands right now, I believe might have everybody a lap down as it stands. So we'll have to see how it stands whenever he comes out of his pit stop here. Whenever he takes it, as he's working down there off the corner. And I'm looking at the nameplate on that car right. It looks like up above the door it reads Chase Elliott on that machine. As they work on down here off of 3 or off 1 and 2 down that back straight. We'll see if we'll see if Ray drops it down on the pit road or if he's going to take it another lap around. He's going to take it another lap around out here on the front. So where's that 33 at? Austin Hunt back here. So he's not that far over a lap. He's a lap and maybe a straightaway. Back from Donald Ray. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as Donald Ray whenever he decides to come in the pit. As we have the 40 of Ellis and Heminger on pit road. Lap 85 of the 117. .37 of Bobby Watts coming on to pit road. Chase Matsko still has not pitted his second time. Neither has Austin Smith. Now Austin Smith gets up there into that outside wall. I thought I washed them pit complete. We'll see here. We'll get my other little standing up here. And we'll see pit stop numbers. Austin Smith only has pitted once so far. Same with Berthick. Matsko also only pitting once. All right, down here through off the corner. Here comes Donald Ray on the pit road now. What's Austin Smith do? He stays up there on top. Going to try to gain a spot here. Austin Hunt back there in third. Gets around him. Keep an eye on his number 19 as he's still on his way down that long straightaway or that long pit road. Austin Hunt back on the lead lap. He works here in the corner number 3 and 4. The 19 down there on the bottom, sitting in his pit stall now. Right side tires. Left side tires, and there goes Austin Hunt. Hunt now back to the lead. Mark Nelson there in second. Donald Ray, he's going to peel it out of there. Down there on the bottom of the racetrack, he's sitting there in about fourth. Austin Hunt now out there with the lead after the second round of pit stops here. And it looks like the 33 of Austin Smith is going to go ahead and bring it in this time. There's the Austin Hunt getting up around the lap car. Bobby Watts. And now we're back up to about 7 cars on the lead lap. Adam Smith now drops down there. He's going to drop a lap. So 6 cars on the lead lap. The last one being on the lead lap is going to be at number 67 of Paul Berthwick in that Hendrick Motorsports car. Joey Stats in 5th. And he's trying to work around that lap machine of Scott Olson. Right in front of him, the next driver up there is Caleb Sheets. And then Donald Ray having a real good night so far, sitting here third. Hasn't really dropped too far, even though he started in second. Hasn't really dropped too far. Austin Hunt starting on pole, has the pole once again. Has that front clean air rolling down through here. But really, here at Darlington, I don't know really how much the clean air is going to be a factor. I mean, especially when you got him looped around the speedway like we see him here tonight. How much clean air can he truly be getting on that machine? And he rolled down here in the corner number 3 and 4 once again. Lap 91 of 117. Mark Dowson back here in second. Donald Ray in third. Caleb Sheets back here fourth. Joey Stats in fifth. Paul Berthwick back here in sixth. Brian Peters in seventh. In eighth, that's going to be Austin Smith with Chase Matsko here in ninth. Scott Olson there in 10th. As you see, there you have Mark Nelson out there running off the corner as he can down the back straightaway. Austin Hunt out front. 25 laps to go here at Darlington tonight. And head on down through here, off of the corner, here down that back straightaway. Or I'm sorry, no, the front straightaway down here into corner number 1. And I think, is this track that some might call it an egg shape? I think that might be what they call this one, but I'm not positive because of the one corner being larger around than the other. You can kind of see that back straightaway slanted a little bit. Mark Nelson there in second. Donald Ray here third. Caleb Sheets here in fourth. Joey Stats fifth. Those are your top 5. Rolling back here, you got Ryan Peters there in sixth. Paul Berthwick, he's going to fall into 7th as he now drops down there into the pits. Austin Smith back here in 8th. Chase Matsko 9th. Scott Olson in 10th. Those are your top 10 drivers as it stands right now as they roll on down here off of the corner. Back around onto the front straightaway. Everybody doing what they can. Down here through in the corner number 1. You got Austin Honda up there in first. Mark Nelson here second. Donald Ray third. Caleb Sheets fourth and Joey Stats fifth. Nothing has changed as of yet. Brian Peters back here in sixth. Austin Smith here in seventh. Chase Matsko here eighth. As Paul Berthwick, as he's coming out of the pits, falls back here in the 10th. Scott Olson getting around him up there on the top side of the racetrack, coming out of turn number 2. Down that back straightaway. That's going to put Berthwick back there in 10th. A lap down behind Peters. And possibly a lap down behind, well, no. Maybe 2 laps down behind Austin Hunt. See here whenever the laps come through. Now we've got 5 drivers on the lead lap. AC Sheets is 11 seconds back. Stats is 13 seconds back. Peters a lap down. Smith is a lap down. Matsko is 2 laps down. Olson is 2 laps down. Berthwick is 2 laps down. Wirtz, 5 laps. Heminger, 10 laps. Ellis, 13. And Brewer's in the pits. Jacobs out, and so is Spillman. That's your field so far tonight. Roll down here through off of the corner, down here into corner number 1. Caleb Sheets out here in 4th. Joey Stats in 5th. Brian Peters here 6th. Austin Hunt out in front. As Mark Nelson is here in 2nd. And work on down through off the corner. 'Mark Nelson, Donald Ray, Caleb Sheets, Joey Stats, your top 5. Working on down through the backstretch, down here in the corner number 1. Everybody's spread out all over the racetrack. Caleb Sheets has company brewing there behind him. Now, that's a lap machine. That's the 37 of Bobby Watts. Now you see Joey Stats being the next car back behind him that could be fighting for a spot here with 17 laps to go at Darlington in the FFTv Cup Series here tonight from Freedom Motorsports Alliance. Mark Nelson there, you see him in 3rd. Caleb Sheets back here 4th. Joey Stats 5th. Man, want to run by some of these drivers, and you can see a little bit about how the strategies kind of play out on when to pit, when not to pit. And come down here through off the corner. 15 laps to go here at Darlington as they come around here. As the 15 works on to the backstretch. Austin Hunt, what a run here tonight for him. Great strategy calls there by him and his team as they got himself out front. Leading this race, Mark Nelson there in 2nd. Donald Ray sitting there in 3rd. Those are your top 3 that started tonight. As Mark Nelson sitting there 2nd now as Donald Ray has fallen back into 3rd. Mark Nelson started 3rd and is up to 2nd. So those two just flip-flop positions here as this race is going on. Caleb Sheets out there in 4th. Hasn't really gained or lost anything as it stands right now. Joey Stats has made a run at him a few times tonight as he's finally got around that 37 of Bobby Watts. 14 laps to go here at Darlington. Austin Smith back here in 7th. Chase Matsko 8th. Scott Olson 9th. Paul Berthwick back here in 10th with Bobby Watts in 11th. Shane Heminger in 12th out there in that DuPont Chevrolet. Tiffany Ellis back here in 13th. Cody Brewer in the pits. Dylan Jacobs out, and Joseph Spillman is out. Can't really say too much for highlights, as there's not too much to really highlight on. As I come down here into the corner, we got Mark Nelson there in second, Donald Ray in third, Caleb Sheets here fourth. Man, what a night of racing this has been with strategy calls and everything else. Green flag the whole way as we're coming through into the final stretches here. Out there in front is 12 laps to go. You're seeing Hunt come up there to the lap machine of Tiffany Ellis. Ellis will get out of the way, give way to the leaders up there on the top side of the racetrack, which they have done all night long. As you see, there comes Donald Ray. Donald Ray, I didn't catch this, got up there and passed Mark Nelson for third. So Donald Ray now up there in the second as he tries to chase down Austin Hunt in that 15 machine, but I just don't think it's going to be enough as it comes down that back straightaway. Let's see here. Donald Ray's running a 30.10. Austin Hunt last ran a 30.42. So we'll have to see here as this comes down exactly how they come across the line. As Austin Hunt just ran a 30.29. Donald Ray with a 30.08. So little by little he is catching. He's got to get around that 40 there of Ellis, which he'll do so without any issues. And continue on his move up there. He has got that gap down to about 2 seconds. Rolling down here through turns 1 and 2. That last lap, Austin Hunt laid out a 30.33. Donald Ray with a 30.27. Best lap, that's going to be that of Donald Ray. So Donald Ray is actually running a little quicker through the racetrack than what Austin Hunt is, but can Austin Hunt kind of hold him off enough? Here, we're down to 7 laps to go. Donald Ray sitting there in second in that number 19 Napa machine. And he rolls around here up there along that outside wall. Still running about, well, now they're running almost equal lap times as they roll down there, but Donald Ray still a little quicker. He's still trying to chop down that lead, which he is doing little by little. As you see that counter there, that gap counter is down to minus 1.7. I come off of turn number 2. And that gap's still closing. They're down here in the corner number 3. And I think that's where, that could be where Donald Ray is catching Austin Hunt. As they roll down here through off of the corner. He's catching them more in corner 3 and 4. Lost a little bit there in turn 1 and 2. As he did run a little slower that lap than what Austin Hunt did. So he can get up there if he can keep it smooth and hit his marks. 5 laps to go. Probably got them tires just a little bit hot. Had to let them cool off a lap. Now he's going to try to charge again. 4 laps to go. This is going to get interesting, I'm sure, as they come down here through turn 3 and 4. I just don't know if it's enough here for Ray to get up there. There's 3 laps to go, and there's still a second and a half between Hunt and Ray. He's giving it all he's got. I will give him that. The 15 of Hunt, he's going to make sure he doesn't get caught behind lap traffic, as that could slow him down enough. And you see him coming off the corner there. You see Olsen out there in front of him. Or that's the 67, rather. That's Berthwick. No, 24, I'm sorry. Shane Heminger. As the leaders get around Austin Smith. And final lap, Austin Hahn just out there in front enough that Donald Ray is not able to get up there to battle him. Here he comes into the final corners here at Darlington, down around 3 and 4, back out here onto that front straightaway. Austin Hahn, your winner here for the FFTv Cup Series this evening as he brings it down there in the corner number 1. As for a victory lap commences here for Austin Hahn. Donald Ray, what a night for him as he did finish out there in second. Mark Nelson finishing third. Caleb Sheets finishing fourth. So those drivers started or finished where they started. Joey Stats up 7 spots. Scott Olsen, even though he finished 8th, he's up 8 spots from where he started. Austin Smith up 1. Chase Matsko, he's down 2. So a little bit of shuffle up once you get past the top 5. Or starting at the top 5. But great job here tonight by these drivers. Austin Hahn takes it home here for the win tonight. Race results gonna be Austin Hahn out there winning the race. Donald Ray there second. Mark Nelson third. Caleb Cheats finishing the night in fourth. Joey Stats in fifth. Austin Smith there in sixth. Chase Matsko seventh. Scott Olsen there in eighth. Paul Berthwick there in ninth. Ryan Peters in 10th. Bobby Watson 11th. Shane Heminger finishes the night in 12th. Tiffany Ellis there 13th. Cody Brewer in 14th. Dylan Jacobs 15th. And Joseph Spillman out there in 16th. All right, let's get with our leaders here. Let's see. We need Mark Nelson. Good evening there, Mark. How's it going? Oh, don't mean you're not working. You there, Mark? Oh, boy. That'd be why. There, how's that? Can you hear me now, Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Alrighty. Just had a little bit of issues there. But got third place tonight. I know you tried to battle for second there with Donald Ray, but he just seemed to have a little bit better wear on the tires than what you did.
Yeah, well, Donald had pitted after me both runs, so he probably had 5 to 10 lap newer tires than I did. So the short pitting was an absolute failure tonight. I would not do that again the next time we come here. Even 5 laps was just too much. They just had such an advantage, and yeah, I was doing something different through turns 1 and 2 than they were. I was just talking to them before you pulled me in, and I don't know, there's just little technical things that people can do with these cars that make them just that little bit faster, and it's just not intuitive. So I got third place, but I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest, because I really love this track, and I felt like I was kind of a non-factor.
Well, they were both quick out there tonight, and I mean, yeah, you can't really get too upset. You finished where you started. You didn't gain none, you didn't lose none, so I mean, there is that.
Yeah, I know, but this is a place you go to a track you love and you want to win there, and this is that place, one of the places for me anyway. So I just wish that I would have been a little bit more of a competitive. If I was to have lost to those guys by a few tenths or something like that, I would have felt better. But I I just was having some trouble with my technique, especially towards the end of the race for some reason, and I just got my butt handed to me, and I'm just have to go back to the drawing board and make sure it doesn't happen again next time.
Well, I mean, you've had a pretty decent streak here at FMA, so it's I'd still chalk it up as you had a great night here at Darlington. You didn't let that stripe get you. That Darlington stripe didn't come out to get you, it seems. So there is that.
Well, well, I was wondering about that because I hit the wall quite a few times. I was like, God, I hope Adam didn't see that. Oh, I didn't hope he didn't see that. Oh, I hope he didn't see that. I was hitting it constantly, so
Well, I do
definitely had
know a
stripe.
driver that was hitting it pretty constant, and that was Chase.
I'll make sure to give him crap for it.
That probably is why he's back there in about seventh position. It's him and that wall were making friends quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, I told him to stop hitting it earlier, but he didn't listen to me.
So, but it's still a great run. Congratulations for third place. Who's your sponsors and shout-outs you want to give here for helping you get up there in that podium?
Yeah, thanks to everyone that's supporting me, supporting you. Thanks to my wife, and a little shout out. Last week I had talked about the Last of Us Part 2 game coming out on PC, and this coming Sunday is Season 2 of the show that is an adaptation of the game. So everybody that is listening, go watch the first season if you haven't already, and check out Season 2 starting on Sunday on HBO.
Alrighty. Well, congrats and enjoy your podium here tonight, and we'll see how you will do on Sunday night. Well, you don't run the Xfinity, do you?
Nope, Monday night.
All right, we'll see you Monday night for the GT3s then.
Sounds good. Thanks, Adam.
That was Mark Nelson, our third place finisher. Now we'll get with Donald Ray, our second place finisher. Good evening there, Ray. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fairly well. Hoping that everything's turning out okay. And looks like you had a pretty decent run there in that number 19 Napa machine tonight.
Yeah, I felt pretty good most of the race. I think I did actually lead the most laps, just not the one that counts. It's pretty rare to stay green for that many laps at Darlington, so good thing for you and the broadcast that you was able to put on a good show. And shout out to all these guys that kept it clean. There was probably more respect tonight than I've ever experienced in any race. Anytime you'd come up on somebody that was slower than you, they was really generous and would let you by, which was good since I was always trying to catch Austin there.
And that's always great whenever you can find somebody that's being has the sportsmanship to do that. Do you have sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for helping you get up there into that podium position here tonight?
Man, it's all because of the field. That's the only reason I was able to stay up there. Got a little unlucky on my qualifying. My second lap, I kind of brushed the wall, so it disqualified the lap. I was able to get around Austin early, again, because he was being generous. He didn't have to lift there going through turn 1 and 2 on that first lap, but he did. And let me lead a bunch of laps, and that was fun, being out in clean air. I just want to shout out to Austin, man. We battled together all night, and Mark as well. And I don't think any of us touched each other a single time, so that's what I appreciate the most.
No, I don't think your cars did too much of the touching tonight. I think it was more of the cars to the wall.
Yeah, I think I got a few stripes. Not enough to get any incident points, but enough to probably rub a little bit of that pretty blue paint off.
Well, see, that's the one thing I'm getting a little upset at, is nobody had any paint rubbed off. You hit the wall enough, I would have thought there would have been some off of the car, but nobody had any paint rubbed off, which surprised me.
I think iRacing might be glitching there, buddy. I think there's probably most everybody's got some of it rubbed off. I know I did. And I'm pretty sure a few others did as well.
You look at it on my broadcast, nobody has any paint scrubbed off of their car. It's like, oh, come on now. Is that a setting now that I don't have checked or what?
It must be. It's got to be.
Because like I said, I was following everybody. I watched everybody slap the wall, and I could see damage on the front of Chase's car, but there was no stripe. It's like, okay, something's off. Whether it's me or iRacing, something is off.
Yeah, it's probably iRacing.
So, but great run there for second place tonight, and you're going to be back for the Xfinity race on Sunday?
I actually have a golf tournament Sunday. If I get home in time after that, then I may jump in there. Is it also at Darlington?
No, it's the Xfinity race doesn't follow the Cup Series. It follows its own schedule, and we're going to, that's going to be, looks like Las Vegas.
I may have to attend that one. That's I hope I get home in time because that's my second favorite track on the sim next to Darlington. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, Xfinity will race at Las Vegas, and then we take on Bristol next week in the I believe it's Bristol with the Cup cars next Wednesday.
Can't wait.
So, all right. Well, you have yourself a great night and enjoy that second place here tonight.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
All right, that was second place, Donald Ray. Austin Hunt here in Victory Lane. How's it going?
Oh, it's good after this one.
Well, I know you had a little bit of competition up there at the front, but it seemed that you had the winning pitch strategy here tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't really trying to force the issue with Donald there at the beginning. I was just going to wait and see if he made a mistake or try to let it play out the pitch strategy, and I think it worked out. So.
Well, that's what we were, kind of sitting here in the booth. It looked like your team just had a little bit better, just had the laps figured out for the green flag run here tonight, which was amazing to watch. That you guys had such a great green flag run here tonight.
Yeah, I definitely have no complaints with full flag-to-flag green, so it's pretty awesome.
Who's your sponsor and shout-out you want to give here for helping you get into that victory lane tonight?
I'm rocking Luke Mancy on the Cup cars. Like I said, he builds all kinds of sim rigs and race car parts, all kinds of good stuff. So
definitely was fun to watch tonight, and I know we watched you have your hands full a little bit with Donald Ray there a couple times, and Mark Nelson was out there through the. You guys were battling quite a bit up there in the top three. And did a great job tonight.
I thought Mark had me there for a little while when I come out of pits after that first stop, and he was almost 6 seconds ahead. I thought he was just gone.
Well, he understands he might have had a little bit of technical issues in his driving that he was unaware of until tonight.
Yeah, that's what we were sitting there talking about after it was all over and done with. He was trying to figure out what we were doing different.
It's just little things. It's some little things that you don't realize until you're behind somebody that's going just that little bit faster.
And it don't take much either. They can be a tenth faster, but they just keep pulling away.
Yep. Well, congrats on victory tonight. And what is your next race here at FMA?
I'll be back Monday, or actually Sunday, for the Xfinity cars.
So we'll see you in Las Vegas for the Xfinity Series?
Yes, sir. I'll be there Sunday and Monday night.
All righty. Well, it's always a pleasure when we get the racers out on the racetrack and watch you guys have some fun. I know it's a blast up here in the booth whenever you guys can get side-by-side battling. I know we were hoping for at least one, maybe debris caution here tonight to get everybody bunched back up again.
Yeah, I think there were some people hoping for that. I'm glad it didn't happen, though.
Well, congrats again on victory, and you have yourself a great night.
Thank you, sir. Y'all too.
All right, that was Austin Hahn, our winner here tonight. Congrats to everybody that came out and watched and raced. We can't wait till you join us again. And don't forget, tomorrow night, We are with Coast to Coast Racing League starting at 6:45 tomorrow night. Broadcaster go live around there to 10-minute till the hour. On the hour, qualifying starts for the 358 modifieds. And then we move on to the 358 big block division. And then yours truly here is going to give a shot at the Pro Late Models again. To catch that whole show, look up Coast to Coast Racing Network here on YouTube. But you can catch the first part of it there, the 358s and the big blocks here at Playground Farm TV, as well as catching it over at Coast to Coast. Thank you for watching tonight, and have a great night.